That moves us to the approval of the minutes of the December 9th board meeting. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move that we approve the minutes of the September 9th, 2024 board meeting.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? And that motion passes 7-0. That brings us to public participation. I know we do have some folks that signed up. As we prepare for that, I'm going to share the board welcomes and encourages public participation. We respectfully ask that you adhere to the procedures provided in Board Policy BEDH, public participation at meetings. Your comments should be limited to 3 minutes and must remain either on the topic noted on your sign-in form or a listed agenda item. Questions asked during public participation will be handled in accordance with Board Policy BEDH.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Shaylin Bruson is here to speak about a coach's leave.
Good afternoon. My name is Shay Brusen. I have 3 children in Lexridge 5. I've got 1 in Spring Hill, 1 in Irmo Middle, and 1 at Nursery Road. I'm here to express some deep concern I have in regards to Thomas Sevilla being put on leave. My wrestler specifically has been deeply affected by this. Coach Tommy and his family, for that matter, have been a complete role model, mentor, and pillar of strength and hope for my kids. We moved here from New Mexico in 2022 in hopes of a better education, and we chose this district for a reason, so excuse my emotions. It was a big move. It was hard on my children. My oldest was trying a new sport after taking a 5-year leave, and he was having a hard time. And Coach Sevilla was there for him. He was the only one that coached him and brought him up to confidence to be willing to play again, and he is the only reason that he's willing to try again this season. I'd like to move to my second for sake of time. His name is Gage, and you don't know him, but I promise you will. He's an amazing, exemplary student and an athlete. This is his first time wrestling, and after working with Coach Sevilla, he has a strong sense of confidence and of leadership. Coach is a breath of fresh air, and he quickly became an advocate for our whole family. He does so much more than coach. He's fostered a sense of pride, confidence, and it's really beautiful to witness. I'd like to end with a quick little instance that happened with my son. As he's on the mat, again, it's his first time wrestling. He is in a compromising position, which any mom would cringe at. And as I cringe and look at him, I see fear in his eyes, pain on his face, and he's not looking for me. He's looking for his coach, Coach Thomas. And as soon as their eyes meet, he gives the right cue, and if my son didn't get out of that mess and win that, it was a beautiful thing to witness, and I would just like to say that Coach Tommy and his family are an asset to this district, and they are a huge part of my family and their success. Thank you.
Grace Sevilla is here to speak about wrestling.
Hi, I'm Grace Sevilla. This is about Coach Tommy on leave. It's not fair what they're doing about my dad at IMS. It's biased and unfair. Wrestling is treated different from other sports like football. We need to support wrestling also. My dad is getting mistreated and targeted. I don't know why, but he is. My dad is labeled as aggressive, but he isn't. My dad really loves wrestling, and the kids love it as well. Why is football getting treated different than wrestling? It's just as important. Punishing my dad for not having a key is unfair. My main concern is why would the principal put a wrestler in the position where the principal is telling him what to write on his statement? There was a hurt wrestler who needed medical attention who couldn't get it because of the janitor. This wouldn't have happened if my dad had a key. This is the main reason. One word explains this whole issue: biased. Thank you for listening.
Melody Sevilla is here to speak about the wrestling program.
Hi. I don't have anything written. This is all going to be from my heart. I did bring some wrestlers with me tonight who have stage fright now and are nervous. I'd like to say we moved our family here from California. We chose this district, same reason, for excellent education and opportunities. I think what's happened with the wrestling program, which started last year, my husband volunteered and somehow this wrestling program took off. Last year was a complete success. This year, we've had a lot of uphill battles based on what I believe is a complaint about that my husband filed as a parent based on a situation that happened with my type 1 diabetic son, who was exposed to excessive punishment with a blood sugar level of over 600, which could have killed him. My husband then filed a complaint, which escalated, and filed the complaint as a parent. After the complaint was filed, the wrestling program then started to face a lot of problems. At this point, I feel like the program is targeted because of my husband. These kids are not just wrestlers to my husband. My husband goes above and beyond for these kids. I'm picking up kids at 5:30 in the morning on Saturdays to get them to the bus. There's kids that are fosters in our program that we've taken and done extra above and beyond. These kids are our family, and for these kids to be punished because, and their coach taken away mid-season, this is the most important time for wrestling. Their sectionals are coming up and state competition. For their coach to be removed and put on leave because of a situation that I believe is a result of a complaint as he filed as a parent for something completely different. These kids are being punished, and that's not fair. It's not fair for these kids who have worked hard, that have put in all this time and this heart, and they're being penalized because my husband couldn't access the gym and get a child who had a concussion and was bleeding emergency medical treatment. He wasn't given a key to the gym. Was he angry that he couldn't get in the gym to assess this kid's medical condition? Probably, but I can guarantee if any one of you was the parent of that child that had a concussion and was bleeding outside the gym and couldn't get medical attention, couldn't get a first aid kit, nor could get a phone, any parent, myself or any one of you included, would be very upset that this has come to what it's come to. So, thank you.
Thomas Sevilla is here to speak about the wrestling program.
Good evening. Many of you received an abundance of communication from me recently, and it's not something I enjoy, that's for sure. I never wanted to meet any of you under these circumstances. But that being said, I just want you to know a little something that mirrors what Mr. Ross gave an example during his segment where he spoke, how the teachers have 180 days to teach and do this sort of thing. I want you to know that last year in November, I showed up as a parent to meet the coach of the wrestling program at Irmo Middle School. Guess what? There was no coach. I was the only adult in the room. I became the coach in an emergency situation. And all that happened thereafter was we became a family. My entire team qualified for Area 5, 14 wrestlers. Actually, more than that, more than 14 wrestlers. And 3 came out of sectionals as champions, and 3 went on to state. And 180 days, I wish I had 180 days to teach these kids how to wrestle. I've got 4 weeks to teach them how to wrestle before their first competition. And to God be the glory for the success that we've been able to enjoy. last year and to current day. And I can't even believe that we would be maliciously locked out of the building for the second time during a second medical emergency, and the focus would be upon me and how I'm alleged to have acted under that circumstances when he finally opened the door for me. I'm reminded of something that makes a lot of sense, and it's pretty easy to understand. When a man is looking into a pot of boiling water, he can't see his reflection. But when he's looking into a pot of cold, calm, serene water, he can see himself very clearly. I don't even know what I said at that moment when the janitor finally opened the door, other than, "Leave us alone. Stop messing with my wrestlers. Open the door for us, please. Leave us alone." That's all I recall. So I know my time is up. I just want to say that we have sectionals, Area 5 coming up. We have state, and these kids don't have a coach. Thank you.
Kim Murphy is here to speak about construction manager requests for qualifications.
Good evening. I wanted to bring something to your attention related to the construction manager that is to be hired for the 2024 bond referendum projects and the request for qualification process in regard to the selection committee's upcoming recommendation to the school board of their selection. First, for some reason, the link to the RFQ solicitation on Skibo, the statewide procurement site, which is seen across the state, did not work for the majority of the time the RFQ was advertised. The link went to page not found. The RFQ was advertised on December 10th. I've been told that the link became unavailable on December 16th. That means between December 16th and January 7th, when the RFQ was opened, for over 3 weeks, a potential vendor could not easily see the details to the very large contract. Though a district official's name, phone number, and email address was provided on Skibo, there was no detail about the solicitation visible on Skibo, and it could not be easily accessed without taking extra steps because the link was broken. Mistakes happen, but this mistake may have contributed to the reason that only 3 vendors submitted RFQs for the contract. It also appears that, per multiple articles, Brownstone Construction, who is one of the 3 vendors, had been investigated related to issues with Richland 1 School Board and Richland County, and there has also been legal action involved with Richland County. I don't know the outcome of the investigation, but if this information is correct, anyone who has been essentially fired from a government entity should be heavily investigated. This contractor has already been hired to work on the Irmo High School project. So if this information was known at that time, maybe an investigation has already occurred. Again, the RFQ is for a multi-million-dollar contract. The construction manager's fee for the 2008 $240 million bond referendum project, the same as this one, was around $10 million. Because District 5 has had some issues related to construction in the past, I'm hopeful that appropriate due diligence will be done to help assure that everything is on the up and up. Thank you very much.
Nicole Brown is here to speak about the Irma Middle School wrestling program.
So, I really don't do good speaking in public, but my experience with my wrestling program is that it's exactly what we just said, our wrestling program. Coach Tommy came into our life last year. Well, let's start. I came to District 5 7 years ago due to emergency where I had to leave home. Our home is Detroit. My child met Coach Tommy last year and has done an excellent job. I didn't even know he wanted to wrestle. And it was like, okay, but he did an amazing job. Out of all the coaches, because my child plays every sport you can think of, football, soccer, track, wrestling, and out of all his coaches, Coach Tommy is the only one that actually took him up under his wing and showed him the ropes on anything that he actually needed, whether it was sports, school, family. I'm a single mom, so I appreciate any coach that's willing to coach and teach and lead my child. He's not just a coach, he's a teacher. He is one of those people that I can actually call and say, hey, Coach Tommy, can you get Emmanuel in order for me? And he's gonna say, you know what, Nicole? Send him over here, let me talk to him. I'll handle it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate it because it's like, it's hard. It's hard for a parent and it's hard for a mother raising 2 boys alone. So my youngest son, he's 7th grade this year, Irmo Middle School, and he wants to wrestle. Ma, I want to wrestle. Since Coach Tommy has been gone, Ma, I don't think I want to go to wrestling today. Can I skip today? Skip? What do you want to skip for? You wanted to wrestle. This is what you want. Well, Ma, I just don't think it's right. I don't feel, it doesn't feel the same. Okay, so now I'm paying attention to everything that's going on. Well, the high school coach is teaching. My oldest son, Emmanuel, who goes to Irmo High School, oh my, I don't want to wrestle this year. Why? Oh no, the coach, no, he's not Coach Tommy. But if Coach Tommy was there, would you wrestle? Of course, Ma. Is he gonna be the head coach at Irmo High School? I don't know, but he's gonna be there at the wrestling matches. Well, if you can't guarantee me that he's gonna be there to help me throughout the way, I'm not gonna do it. So I say all this to say that you can put anybody in a wrestling program, but that person is not gonna be Coach Tommy. In the event that he was aggressive, I would want anybody to be aggressive when it's coming to saving my child. I don't want you to just sit around and just look and say, oh, okay, well, he's bleeding. Send him home to his mother. No, I appreciate this man a lot.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of public participation.